Get this, weekdays on the Triple M network and KOFM in Newcastle. Jane Kennedy has popped in for a few words.
I have indeed.
I just want to try and help out the police. Because there's this bandit who's robbed...
You're going to help the cops?
Yeah, I'm going to do something good for once. There's a bandit who's robbed, I think, 30 7-Elevens and service stations.
Jeez, he's got a lot of chiquitos, that bloke.
Sure has. 6 weeks period. That's what he's done it in 6 weeks.
6
30.
weeks? It's 5 a week.
They can't catch him, and he's wearing gear so you can't see his face, but his voice appears on the recording.
Okay,
so
yeah,
have a listen and see if you can identify this voice.
Armed with a knife and with his face covered, this is possibly Melbourne's most notorious bandit.
Just push your button and open the register now, mate. Get the coins out, quick. Get the notes out, mate. Do it now.
In the past 6 weeks, police believe the man has robbed at least 30 petrol stations and convenience stores.
Walk straight in, whether there's customers in the store or
Hang
not.
on.
That doesn't worry him at all.
That's him. That's the cop.
Yeah,
It's the cop.
we busted that one wide open.
He's doing the press conference. He's popping out, putting the balaclava on down to the 7-Eleven.
Still no leads. Would anyone like a chiquito?
I thought it was hot dogs.
Oh!
There's lots of video evidence of him.
Could be.
Hours and
We
hours.
saw Galen on the street last night.
Oh, that's always a bit freaky.
Will strip for food.
Exactly right. The International Observer and I.
Are you still allowed to say he's sort of a Martian, or is that
Yeah.
rude?
Oh, horse-faced Martian. That's
Thank
cool. And we, an equine Martian from the planet Crap. And we were wandering along, and she sort of like held onto my arm a bit, recoiled a bit. And I said, "What's the matter?" And she goes, "That guy. Who's that guy?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Galen from Big Brother." And she goes, "He's so greasy."
This is the Canadian view.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? She's recoiled from
Yeah,
Galen.
just a recoiling.
Without even knowing who he
Slight
is.
recoiling. Who's that guy?
Let's have another listen. If you might know this person, have a listen.
Open the cash register now, mate. Now. Don't make me come around there.
They say it's only a matter of time before someone is hurt.
Always advise people
It's
not
him.
to always comply with the demands and that, but sometimes
It's him.
they
It's that
take
cop.
things into their own hands. So
It is
we'll be
that
concerned
cop.
for that.
And
Is this your way of helping the police?
by dobbing him in.
It's in their own backyard. Have we got any more footage?
Police are pinning their hopes on his distinctive jacket, worn during several of the attacks.
It's a jacket that
Name on the
I
back?
haven't seen before.
Right. It's in your
depicts
wardrobe.
a big skull on the front of the jacket, and it also depicts a large skull on the back.
That's the guy.
Sorry, I'm still dealing with the fact that there's a jacket that he hasn't seen before. Wow, yeah.
And it's a massive skull on the back. He's done 30 robberies in the... He's like a superhero.
Head down to Justine's, mate. It's probably hanging in there.
A jacket I haven't seen before. The skull on the front, skull on the back. Fits pretty well. Pockets look pretty good. Yeah, probably well lined, I reckon. Rich, just a second.
Yeah?
Play that first one again. Because he's a master criminal, this guy.
Just push your button and open the register now, mate. Get the coins out, quick. Get the notes out, mate. Do it now.
He's rolled into the place and he's gone, okay, I got to get rich here. Give me the coins, mate. Get all the coins.
Forget those notes, mate. Just give me them coins.
Give me the coins, mate. Oh, and the notes. And the notes. Don't
They're
make me come
metal.
round.
They're heavier. They've got to be worth more.
Don't make me come round there. Get the commemorative 20s. They're worth more.
Jane Kennedy is with us on the panel.
Yes.
Those with long memories may remember her as Natalie Thighblaster in Bargearse. I only mention that because we get so many emails about Weenie's Bargearse and the olden days coming out on DVD. And I love this this bloke here, hasn't given his name, Popsaw, he's calling himself.
Hey, Popsaw.
He says, whatever happened to Victoria Quilter, a.k.a. Fifi Thighmasters in Bargearse? It was actually Natalie Thighblaster.
You should know, Pop must have get it right. Come on.
But what did we ever? We were never able to track down that woman, were we?
No, she did. Her claim to fame was she used to do. Was it not a Pepsi? Maybe a commercial for. Everyone will know now. It was a soft drink.
It was in the 70s.
Yes, in the 70s, and she used to wear a crochet bikini.
Whoa.
Now you're interested in.
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah?
Hot as.
All right.
But I just haven't sort of seen her lately.
Kept up with her?
Are you saying Tab? Yes, she was the Tab girl. Nikki's got it.
Tab.
Actually, Elle Macpherson did one of those too. Was that Elle Macpherson did Tab? I'm a bit confused with my buxom
Jeez, I could go a tab.
brunettes.
All this
go a
talk,
tab.
all this talk of tab, I could really go a tab right now. Tell you what.
You're only human. Ed.
I don't
What
know.
other male? What, if we had any more
here we go.
communiques.
Listen, your John Smart from Melbourne would like to know if he could please name his band the Sonic Action Triggers. Go right ahead, young man.
Do we have a sonic action trigger today?
Well, I mean,
Just give us an example at random of what might be called a sonic action trigger.
That's how you know get this is on.
That's how you
Sinking
know.
feeling.
That's what you hear at the end of every Tom Cruise marriage. Just that sound.
Instead of
What else? Who else? Those terminology, sonic action trigger. They were having one of the terminology here, Jane. Remember at Triple M
I know,
in
I
the 90s?
It was so simple then.
It was basic. Let's have a meeting, someone would say.
What?
Let's have a talk.
What does that mean?
They wouldn't say, let's have a blue sky session,
Yeah.
ideas shower,
Yeah.
find storm, or
Find
big ideas forum.
There
By the
we
time you
go.
finish saying it, the meeting's over.
hey, how about the whip meeting?
What's the whip meeting?
Work in progress meeting.
Ah,
At the end of the day.
that's
Wow.
Check
fantastic.
in, let them know how you're doing.
The whip meeting.
What's your quota up to?
Oh, my quota's looking good, I reckon.
I'm impressed. Well, camp comedy, that was about as far as we
Did
got,
we have
wasn't it?
camp comedy? What was that? That would be something Tommy G organised.
I think it was you just went away and you just sat down and wrote stuff.
Oh, that's quite nice.
And wrote some camp comedy in many instances.
Oh, yes.
Now, you know what? All the program directors at the network went up the Kokoda Trail.
Yeah.
Stop it.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
For?
I don't know.
That's where
That's what the diggers fought for.
Yeah, it is. It's where better music variety originates.
Yeah, that's what they were battling for.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
More goals and less news. That was what the Anzacs were all about. Are you going to give us a joke, Jane?
Yes. Well, you know that it's Schoolies is on
Yes,
at the moment.
that's
and
true.
Everyone's just probably waking up at the moment on the Gold Coast.
wondering where they are.
Well, you know, there was 21 arrested over the weekend.
Right, 21.
Including 2 girls for fighting. Well, I don't know if that was entertainment or whether that's not the joke, by the way, Richard. Get ready on standby. One male schoolie was seen dropping his pants in the Cavill Mall before jumping around making obscene gestures in front of a woman. It's nice to know Axel Whitehead is having a bit of harmless fun. Thank you.
Beautiful. And we'll be back tomorrow. Did you see much of that footage of the
good.
Schoolies week?
Yes, I
I'm
did.
really upset. I've missed it. What's going on?
What have we got
is
here?
going on?
On Sunday night, one group of girls
Sunday night.
marched through Cavill Ave chanting, "We've already had sex."
Yeah,
Oh, look, I can't wait till my kids are up there. It's something I'm really looking forward to.
Watch out for the Toolies, though.
Oh,
Is there anyone? If you're listening, Toolies, there's
Yeah.
no one sadder than you, my
you
friends.
are creep DeVille.
You make the persons of interest on the cruises look classy.
Correct. Come on, stay away. Seriously.
Stay away from
Stay away.
the Gold Coast.
All right,
Get down
and-
to
and-
Victoria and throw a wheelie bin through a truck.
That's
And
right.
Schoolies, if you're listening, if a 35-year-old man comes up to you with a hat backwards saying "cowabunga" and can he buy you a daiquiri, don't say no. He's not cool. He's just very old.
One male schoolie said he'd picked up 3 times since
Oh,
arriving
yeah,
on Saturday
I mean-
and didn't know any of the girls' names.
Were you a schoolie?
Yeah,
Ed?
I went to Bali instead of instead
somewhere a
of,
bit more low key.
Yeah. It was.
Bali, man,
We had a
that's
Spooner.
full on.
what, Spooner.
Silver Spooner.
I worked in the video. Excuse me, Master, but I worked in the video shop every weekend from when I was 14, both days, Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
You're a self-made man.
That is
I'm
like a
nerd.
dream. That is my dream.
I know. I was pretty happy with it, Tone. Kids,
That's why I can't believe you two have found each other. It's a match made in
people
heaven.
would go past like on sunny days on the buses on their bikes with like surfboards and like hot babes in tow, and I'd laugh at them as I sat in the video store by myself watching the young ones. They don't know what they were missing.
Air conditioning.
Oh yeah,
Fantastic.
It was so sweet.
As you watch all of the Police Academy films in sequence. Glenn Robbins is with us.
I was talking about this on the shebang the other day that I was at the airport and someone came up to me and introduced himself and I'm going, of course, I'm thinking, he thinks I'm the Edge from U2. And he recognises me. And then I realised that he's going up to everyone the same way, and it was
David Helfgotcha.
David Helfgotcha.
David Helfgotcha.
And he was kissing everybody.
Yeah.
He was hugging everybody. He was shaking everybody's hand. He was asking where they were going and what, and he was kissing babies. And it brightened up my day.
Wow.
And he went into the club and did it all through the club. Hello, where are you going? He said, I'd love to see you. I'd love to see you. I want to see you.
He's persisting with that shtick, is he?
Yeah. The movie's come out already, man. It's won some awards. You can drop it.
That's what I should have said to him. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was fun, but I didn't mean to sort of.
So did he know who you were, Glenn?
Well, I thought he did, but he didn't because he kissed me about 4 times, which was fun. And it was a double kiss.
Double kiss
on the cheek.
Yeah,
and
better put that in.
Yeah, wasn't 2 on the mouth. No, he didn't know who I was. Not that he should.
No.
Well, I slipped him a rubber.
There we go.
I said, I'll probably be on the only flight. Captain Kim will be on there. And,
just a little heads up,
Did I tell you about that? Did I tell you? I am talking about myself.
On the planes,
I'm talking about myself.
Come on.
I was flying overseas, and I had this Japanese lady sitting next to me, and where I was flying into the Maldives. So I was a long way from home, and Captain Kim was on the in-flight, and I'd been talking to the Japanese lady, and she said to me, "What are you watching on the TV?" And I said, "I'm watching an Australian sitcom." And I got the little monitor, I turned it around, and I said, "Who do you reckon that is there?" And I pointed to me, and she absolutely shat her pants. She couldn't cut. She was looking at me, she going, "Oh, yeah." She's looking at the screen, looking at me, looking at the screen. It wasn't computer. She goes, "I can't believe what I'm seeing. Oh, my movie star. And her husband's asleep at about 3 o'clock in the morning, shaking him and going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And she had a meltdown.
Did she?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you got up, moved seats, the same routine again, all the way to the back of the plane, up to the cockpit.
Did she have you doing the Kel Power Walk up the aisle? I love it too. What you mentioned, David Helfgotcha. Jeffrey Rush played David Helfgotcha. And then, of course, he played your neighbour. Well, yes.
He played my neighbour, yes.
In Kath and Kim.
And it was funny when he did that.
How long did it take him to master the walk?
Well, what was funny, because I was about to do a scene, and I was standing in the hallway, dressed out in my outfit, and there's Jeffrey Rush standing behind me, dressed as me, with this, the shorty shorts on and the singlet on, waiting for my nod of approval. And I turned around and I said to Jeffrey, Academy Award winner, just pull the shorts a bit higher there, Jeffrey. And then we went out the front, and I had to give him power walking lessons. It is a bit disconcerting when people do you, though. I don't know. There's a part of me that I was in New Zealand, and I did an Uncle Arthur lookalike competition.
Oh,
it was like a bad dream.
How bad did they get?
I was standing there at a race course on a back of a ute, dressed as Uncle Arthur, going, "Well, welcome to the Uncle Arthur." And I was surrounded by, I reckon, 50 Uncle Arthurs. Wow. It was just like a bad dream. And they're all getting up on stage doing pieces of me.
Who won?
Uncle Arthur won.
Really?
Uncle Arthur was the big winner that day.
Yesterday on the program, Glenn, in Melbourne, there's this bandit getting around robbing 7-Elevens. Just have a listen again.
Just push your button and open the register now, mate. Get the coins out, quick. Get the notes out, mate. Do it now. Open the cash register now, mate. Now. Don't make me come around there.
He wants those coins.
He really wants coins.
He's got to have coins.
Give me those coins, mate, and the notes, and those XXX mints.
Hello to everyone who emailed in suggesting that it's Tahir Bilgic. I didn't want to say that yesterday. I thought that's going to sound rude. But I can't deny the torrent of emails that arrived yesterday. I don't think it is Tahir. Hey, let's talk about romance briefly before we get to the topic.
Yeah.
Glenn, have you heard about Ed's... Oh, we're talking about you?
No, John. No, I would never rub my hands and make that noise if I was talking about me.
Yeah.
Last night, my flatmate Johnny Boy went on a date.
Yeah.
Went on a first date, and he took the lady to see Shortbus.
Shortbus?
To see what?
Shortbus. It's a film in general release, probably in your art house cinemas. It's one of these films with your actual...
It's the most sexually explicit film to ever get shown in cinemas.
Yeah.
In
Although
general release.
the tone...
9 songs or...
No, it's
9 songs.
9 songs looks like a toned down version of Bambi after Shortbus gets going.
Down.
Yeah.
And what is it about?
What's it about? Life and the pursuit of happiness via a number of others in short periods of time.
It's a comedy, isn't it?
It's a comedy.
And it's sort of feel good.
It's really feel good. Some people feel fantastic during it.
What's your point?
My point is, it's quite a long bow to draw to go to the short. I thought it was quite a full-on thing to do
on a first date.
And we were out about beforehand looking for a place to live. And I said, "Oh, I'm just going to get some dinner." And he kicked me out of the restaurant where I was trying to eat dinner because that's where he wanted to take the girl. And he said that it would be embarrassing for him if I was sitting there eating pasta. I said, "I'll sit 3 tables away. I don't mind." And he said, "No, I'm too nervous about the Shortbus. I can't have you sitting here. Kick me out."
And now you've seen Shortbus twice, Ed.
I've seen it twice.
Is it,
Now, let me ask you. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah.
Were you by yourself when you saw that film?
First time I was.
You saw it by yourself. Were there a lot of men by themselves?
There's a lot of men together, and then a few men by themselves.
And the second time?
Two women.
I went,
with
a
two
couple
women.
of girls.
Yeah, and the answer to your next question is yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
But is it this John guy? I mean, I don't want to be crude about it, but how'd he go?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was up quite late, and yeah, I don't know.
See, a friend of mine, she saw Shortbus, and she said when she came out, she thought, I never want to have sex again.
Why?
Like it had the exact opposite effect.
No.
It was too much sex.
No.
Too much brightly lit real life sex.
It is brightly lit.
Yeah.
It is brightly lit. Extremely well shot,
Let's see if we can clean up this program. Please, how can we do it?
Pointless jobs, Tone.
Okay, we'll get to pointless jobs. Russell Crowe, would you say he has a pointless job?
Well, yeah.
Really?
Acting's pretty pointless.
Appearing in romantic comedies. Have you seen that one, Glenn?
I haven't
Where
seen that
he's
film, no.
trying
I can't
to-
do it.
Doing a Hugh Grant
He's trying to get us to like him.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
He's sort of more suited to the moody dramas.
Yeah.
Well, Colin Farrell is a big fan.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what Colin Farrell said. He doesn't care if people don't like Russell Crowe in a good year. He says he'll see him in anything. This is a quote. I think Russell could get up, pull his pants down, take a shit, and you would still be completely blown away by it.
If he was up a tree, that would
be, yeah.
Sorry, Glenn knows a bloke who does that from up a tree just to amuse his friends. But, is that something you're going to see? I mean, okay, people will go and see Shortbus. Will they go, okay, it's a 1 minute film. Russell Crowe drops the pants. 1 minute. Punches one out. Roll the credits.
Roll credits.
Get your speech ready.
Music by Moby.
Yeah, but the problem is there's no take two.
That's true.
Yeah.
Once
Russell,
it's
we're going to
done-
go again.
Yeah.
Can't.
I haven't got another one in me. I'm sorry.
Maybe that's just something Colin and Russell could just do together. We all don't need to be subjected to it. Maybe they could just have their own little, one-man show, one-man audience, standing ovation at the end of it.
I saw Little Miss Sunshine on the weekend.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Fantastic ending.
Yes.
And, I don't know, you haven't seen it yet, have
No.
you? I don't know if you'll
I
be
want to.
like me, because I know a bit about your family. I was actually sitting there looking at the family in Little Miss Sunshine thinking, I wish my family could function this well.
Really?
When you're looking at the family from Little Miss Sunshine, enviously, that's when you've got to have a look. Big fake round for Kitty Flanagan, who's with us. Popping in from the UK. You remember
Kitty.
she was on Full Frontal. Now she's on, the sketch show?
Well, not really.
The UK sketch
That
show.
stopped being made about 4 years ago.
Right, yeah.
But it's good. It's good. It's on out here. They axed it in England.
Oh, well, we
which
haven't
is
got
always
the
nice.
axing yet,
No.
so the axing will come in a couple of years here.
Good show, though. Funny show.
Yeah. Well, the first series that I wasn't in won a BAFTA, which is like their Logie. And then the second series that I was in got axed. And, yeah, I know, it's a big old puzzle. What changed? I don't know. What caused the axing? I can't work that out.
We love English accents on this show. In fact, coming up on today's program...
We're going to have an eye-popping, cracking lot of kit on that stand.
It's David Dickinson, antiques valuer.
He's so into the kit. It's cracking,
He's the orangest man on television.
He is. And didn't you know someone who lived next door to him, Ed?
John, my flatmate here, used to live next door to him in London.
What are the chances of that? How weird is that?
He was stalking him, so pretty good.
That you do this show where we talk about him for ages,
I know.
move in with a guy who happened to live next door to him.
Look, Tone, it's just serendipitous. And he said that he would sit outside all year round.
Waiting for a garage sale.
Yes.
Just waiting for David Dickinson's card boot sale.
Get some old
gonna be
tan
cracking.
to rub on. No, the Dickinson would sit outside just in the lolly bag, catching rays all year round. The lolly bag just dawned on Kitty.
Welcome
She
back.
Grabbed her head. Keep that image in your head, Kitty.
I thought it was something kids got at the end of a party, and then no, they
Sometime?
probably
Hope
maybe
not.
they do.
No, they're not getting a cracking load of kits. It's not English accents. I love, we're talking about EastEnders. My wife's addicted to EastEnders.
You are too.
On Fox. Well, I'm addicted to the voices. And there's one bloke, a character.
But do you watch it every day?
Oh, no, I'm meant to tape it every day. There's trouble if I don't tape it.
Right, okay.
But there's so many, it's on 7 times a day. And there's now UK TV 2. Like, in case you missed the 7 plays of it, you can get it on a second channel.
Oh, thank goodness.
There's a guy on that. Do you know the character Jim? And he talks like this.
Yeah.
And you're going, there's no way that's his real voice. And it's all like, oh, God, blimey, what's going on down there?
Is he some kind of confused chimney sweep type?
He's about to burst into song at any moment, and everything has got a slight quaver in the voice at all times. God, blimey, what do you call that? I'm not eating that there.
Is he dodgy?
He's fairly dodgy. He's not as dodgy as Frank Butcher, though.
He's dodgy.
Bot kettle. Sorry. You must be surrounded by these voices all the time. They must lose their novelty.
I'm quite excited coming back to watch Neighbours.
Oh, yeah.
You're ahead
sure
over
about
here. Yeah,
Okay.
I am. Because I watch it over there
Yeah.
just to kind of keep in touch and, with reality. And
Where's it up to?
It's like Home and Away.
Is
They're only up
Bouncer
to,
gone yet? How's Mrs. Mangle going? Doesn't end well. I just want to tell you, doesn't end well for Mrs. Mangle.
Yeah.
Scott and Charlene, they moved to Brisbane. There you go, people.
And if you see Daphne, tell her to watch out for Greg Fleet. Because he will eventually kill
He's
her.
gonna have a go. I got a friend that's just started on Neighbours, a couple of them, and he goes, "Oh mate, what do the credits, the opening credits come out? You should see me. You should see me." I was like, "Great, all right, I'll check you out." And it came on, and he's gone Speedos in the opening titles of Neighbours.
Really?
Everyone else is dressed quite normally, and he's just standing there in a pair of Speedos.
It's always
Bag out front.
It's always dodgy, when you do your opening title shot, because like in the sketch show, what did you do in the opening credits?
Well, that wasn't as bad. I think the worst one for me was Full Frontal. That was my first ever television thing. And the first day we had to arrive and they said, okay, we're going to do some dancing for the opening credits. And I don't dance, like, even in real life. Even in drunk life, I don't dance. And so they said, do some dancing. And it's one of the most hideous things. I was about to do it and then remembered it's radio. So probably won't really
Very visual
play.
show, this.
We'll accept visual.
Very visual show.
Yeah,
take
if you
any
can
show.
So what
catch
did you
that
go
first-
with? Did you go for like understated or did you go all out?
Yeah, I went with that sort of embarrassed, I'd rather not be here kind of, what would you call this kind of movement? I guess it's a bit
I call that just moving your hands.
It's kind of like running, but just with your arms.
Yeah,
that's
and
what I did.
slowly.
I did
and looking
arm
sad.
running.
But I remember a friend of ours, Nick Buffalo, who
Oh,
was
yes.
in country practice, Dr. Ben Green for 4 years.
Very serious role.
Just chucking a stick across a lake. Very wistfully. For 4 years in the opening credits. I always say the worst opening credits shot of any show. Sally Tomset, who was the blonde woman in Man About the House, and her title shot was just her own ass in hot pants walking away from camera.
You know it.
And her name was supered over the ass. It should be the same for Laurie Oakes in the Sunday program credits.
Here we go.
Here he comes now.
Laurie.
Feeling like you're back in England now, Kenny?
Laurie.
How good's that?
Something else on. A kilt. Anything. Something to cover it up.
But let's get this program started because it's going to be a right
Pot kettle!
of a show. Well done, Richard.
Denise
Almost.
Richards has been at my computer.
Oh, almost rich.
Denise Richards has been at your computer.
Yeah, she threw it off a... haven't you ever heard that story?
No?
Last week, she was in trouble because she threw a personal laptop off someone off like the second floor of a building.
And
In
what
a
happened?
fit of rage. I'm not sure.
Really?
But
Who
you got
is
to watch
she?
those Richardses when they get into the fits of rage. Denise,
yeah.
Michael.
Denise Richards from Wild Things.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're all remembering it now.
Great movie.
Let's just stop and think about it for a while.
It's cold out.
It's a classy show, Kitty. Welcome aboard.
But the pool's so warm.
She's looking disgusted.
Why is
I'm
Neve,
fine.
You've come all the way round to the other side of the world
Neve Campbell's looking at me funny?
to go
Tell
down
you
the
what.
shallow end with the team from Get This.
Oh, Denise looks like she likes that Neve Campbell.
Isn't she the receptionist on
Oh,
GP?
dear.
Denise Richards? Who's that?
On GP.
That's what I'm
Robbins.
thinking of.
That's Denise Robbins.
Sorry.
She won't want to be compared to Denise Richards.
No. Old friend of mine. Very
Although
nice lady.
Charlie Sheen will be calling on Denise Roberts now. There's one I missed. Have a look at this picture. This is a picture in the Australian yesterday of the Pussycat dolls. How
How are they going?
Have a
How's
look at that,
PCD
Kitty.
going?
Have a,
Yeah, well, to me, I don't know if you can see the picture, but it screams girl power
yeah.
because having your legs wide open says,
There's the woman on
I can take on the world.
second from the left has got 1 foot on the ground, the other foot pointing up at 1 o'clock, as it were.
Yep.
It's fairly unsubtle. It's fairly uncompromising.
It's actually quite clever because the usual ballet pose is the straight up sort of 6 o'clock pose, the one up at 12, one down at 6. But she's really gone.
And she's
beyond.
wound-
She's gone to 5:06.
She's wound back
That's
for
what she's
daylight
doing.
saving. That's what she's done. But, you know, she's obviously a very good singer.
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
guessing.
yeah.
That's some singing skill.
Oh, I tell you what. Some of the best singing I've ever heard
Really?
has been when someone's leg is, just past their head.
But she's
singing.
empowered.
Sorry?
She's very empowered.
Oh, she's
I
empowered,
think that's
all
the
right.
most important
Mate,
thing.
no
Yeah.
mistake.
See who's from England? Tony Bullimore, the yachtsman. We love him out here.
Is he a yachtsman, though?
How's he sort of seen in England?
Well, I don't know that he's big out there. I think they're quite happy to get rid of him every year.
Here's the sound again, because it's
Sure, I'll think of who
you got to
she is.
picture it. It's Tony Bullimore,
Yeah.
Comedian of the Year.
Yeah, yeah.
Just give him the award
He's
now.
amazing.
Let's hear him arriving in port again.
An abrupt end for Tony Bullimore's Indian Ocean crossing in Albany this morning.
Almost hear laughing at the end of that track. You can almost hear people starting to laugh.
And a bloke gets thrown into the water spectacularly. And, you know, they'll have this thing where they give out awards, like the Walkley Award for the photo of the year.
Yeah.
Give it now to Nick Ellis,
Nick Ellis, you're a genius.
the photographer.
Because he knew. See, that's the thing. Everyone, the film cameras have pitched themselves on the other side to try
That's
and get
right.
a shot of Tony.
Doc on left, Bullimore approaching on right, not slowing down, crash, humour ensues.
Right. Ellis
Has got on the other side.
he knows what's coming. He
Yesterday.
knows Bullymore can hardly get the thing started, let alone make it stop. You know?
He knows that Bullimore has a lot of trouble distinguishing between the ocean and land.
The land.
And he has got photo of the year. It was in the Australian yesterday. It's a boat crashing into a dock and a guy flying through the air in the funniest possible way. Congratulations, Nick Ellis, photographer of the year.
Second prize is going to go to our friend, probably from Reuters, who's given us the Pussycat dolls work for today.
Yes.
That is an amazing stance. I
Yeah.
look down because it's hard to get through the text, right? Because your eyes wander.
The Pussycat dolls, though, and the women that strike these poses, I'm not saying, that it's not attractive. It is, but it's when they pull these poses and then they sing songs like, yeah, don't rape me, and don't stare at my ass, because I'm a gal and I'm powerful, and then they're doing that.
It means that you're not going home empty-handed. You're at the Music Awards. If you don't get an award, you're going to get a $20 note down the front of the pants. At least you're going home with something. We've got to talk about the other end of the entertainment pool. Theatre restaurants.
Yeah.
I love theatre restaurants. What is your favourite theatre restaurant, Ed Cavalier?
It's Witches and Britches.
Oh, in Melbourne? I thought, or is it franchised around?
No. It's a Melbourne institution. Now, I've never been inside. I haven't had the occasion, but I went to one in Las Vegas. I went to the Excalibur casino, and they have the show, and you see it in the Cable Guy. They go to the same thing. And they have a fight.
Yes.
And they sit you in different countries, and we sat in Austria because it sounded the most like Australia. And you eat a little chicken, with your hands, and they give you bread, and they have a sword fight. It's terribly staged, Rich. There is no I reckon the same guy wins every night because it's so wussy. And the guy playing Merlin comes up to us and he's like, "Oh, and which section are you sitting in?" And I thought, well, I'll just make a joke because I was sitting there with a huge banner across my head that said Austria, and I said Australia, and he goes, "Oh, I don't think so," and they booed me. My fellow Austrians booed me, and he was a wuss. Should have seen him. Tights, haircut, no skills. No skills.
Every city that we go out in would have a theatre restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Melbourne used to have a lot more than it has now.
Yeah.
And at one point, I remember there was
Are they dying out?
Yeah, well, I don't know if
can't
Tiki
believe
and
that.
John's Starship Crazy House is still going with its comical 4-course cruise across the galaxy. And if you couldn't say that, you couldn't drive home. And there were several, I remember, that shared the same catchphrase, The Dungeon, and, there was another one, Alcatraz. Both invited you to come and get locked in for the night. There was Bunratty Castle. There was Nero's Fiddle out in the suburbs.
Nero's Fiddle.
That had, I think, Hey Doc, There's a Tilt in My Kilt with Joan Brockenshire was running for several years. Then Up Your Toga and followed by Up Your Toga 2. I want to know what the improvement was.
Further up your toga.
There was obviously Dirty Dicks.
Yep.
And
Still going, I think, in Sydney, Dirty Dicks.
Hunchbacks.
Very medieval, these places.
The Cauldron.
Oh, dear.
There's a lot.
Anywhere telling you could eat to the beat?
I'm sure there would have been.
Like
Maybe
that.
Brisbane.
Love to eat to
I
the
went
beat.
to one in Wollongong. They used to have one called Crazies. Obviously, that's with a K. Come on.
Of course.
Of
And
course
all the
it was.
letters sort of on an angle, bumping into each other.
But I think they wanted to be careful not to specify exactly what the theme was so that the kids could just come in whatever costume they had ready, because it was really quite low budget. So all the people they got, they were just basically whatever Amdram production they were in, they'd then turn up and go, "Oh, I've come as a monster."
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'd be serving the tables. And then they used to have the comedy on halfway through. They'd have a comedian doing a 20-minute set in the middle. And what was really disappointing is that people couldn't wait for the waiters to come back on and do their comedy songs. They were actually bored by the comedian and found these comedy waiters funnier than us. We're out there giving it 20 minutes of professional shtick, and these are my best bits. And then on come the waiters, eat it, eat it, eat it, and they were just loving it.
That is as good as it gets at a theatre restaurant.
Crazies. Look it up. I'm sure it's
Crazy.
still
Rich.
there.
Well, I've only ever been to one, which is the Night Train Theatre Restaurant in Adelaide. It's the only
Oh,
theatre
really?
restaurant in Adelaide.
What's the
and,
theme, brother?
Get on
it's-
board.
Yeah, it's horror, medieval horror, like lots of headless guys, mummies,
yeah.
Frankensteins,
Yeah.
stand-up comics doing Andrew Dice Clay material.
That's what I used to do.
Blue.
The only night that I went, there was a drunk guy who wandered up on stage and started to pour at one of
Yeah!
one of the
audience
Yeah.
participation.
Who did he go for? Frankenstein?
the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh,
actually, made an
really?
appearance, and,
Fantastic.
yeah, the night ended in a headlock.
Any,
It was terrible. Not a good show.
any like themed food, like eyeball soup or anything?
No, not that I can remember.
I'm
no.
sure they do that at Dracula's.
Oh.
Yeah. There's one in Malvern, in Melbourne, Victoria, called the Tivoli. Used to be Shufty's Tivoli.
Where is the fun in that name? Where is the fun in just the name the Tivoli?
Well, I don't know. They're actually sharing a building with a funeral parlour. I'm sure people
Oh,
who go
dear.
past it every day would have spotted this. Comedians love to try and think of jokes about that building, about how there's a funeral parlour and a theatre restaurant, and you might go into the wrong one. And the only joke I've ever come up with, and it never gets a laugh, so I have the boing queued up, is that, I went to an open coffin funeral at the parlour, and just as they opened the coffin, we heard through the wall from next door, "All hail the beef!" Never gets a laugh. But, there aren't many jokes about a funeral parlour and a theatre restaurant being in the same building.
Weird joke,
But what other joke could you come up with?
I don't know.
You tell me what else there is with that material to work with.
Tony should do a bus tour.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where I'll end up.
Martin's bus tour.
I'll end up like Kenny Kramer. Isn't it sad that Kenny Kramer has more than a career than Kramer these days? Isn't that sad?
Wheels turned.
We've been talking about English accents.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to start doing Jim for
Oh,
EastEnders.
no.
Okay, cool, blimey. We've been having requests to replay things because it's our final show for the year next Friday. And here's something we did earlier in the year. What was that film that was set in New Zealand with Anthony Hopkins riding a motorbike?
World's Fastest Indian.
I remember you weren't that impressed by the New Zealand accents.
And my mum called me the next day and said, "I'll have you know, Edward, that I have friends from Invercargill," and they said it was spot on. So, it's okay that you've got a radio show, but they don't. So, if you wouldn't mind quoting, Jane and David and just setting the record straight, because I think it's unfair.
And we said, no, look, if you want to get the accents right, this is how the movie should have gone.
He only ever wanted one thing, to be the fastest. And there's only one place in the world where you can prove it. Indianapolis, USA.
G'day, I'm from New Zealand. Is this Indianapolis?
One man against the odds.
Who the hell are you?
My name's Tim from Invercargill, and I've driven this Undian motorcycle at a terrific lick from the Beck Paddock to the Big Griffin's Biscuits billboard in just 56 clicks, and after several thrills and spills, I'm fresh off the ship and committed to ripping the Indianapolis statistics to bits with my grip, spirit, skill, and most significantly, my vehicular quickness.
You're gonna break the world land speed record on that?
It's a given.
The odds were against him.
What's this you're using to attach the sidecar?
It's a kitchen hinge.
And why a sidecar for a land speed record attempt?
That's for my consistently unflappable sidekick, Phul. Hello, Tim. Hello, Phul. He's the wind beneath my wings.
Two men against the odds.
I'm unwilling to piss on your procession, Tim, but every inhabitant of Invercargill is convinced you'll be killed if your Undian motorcycle outdistances 56 clicks. Is this your opinion, Phul? My position's contradictory. I think you can win, and win big. Thank you, Phul. Thank you, Tom. You're a brick of considerable distinction.
But the odds were against them.
Do you know how fast you were going back there?
56 clicks. Now stick that in your bivouac, pig.
What?
You heard him, lick-spittle. And after significant tinkering, this Undian's going lickety-split into Indianapolis quickness history. Suck on that, dick licker. Let her rip, Tom. Consider it ripped, Phul.
But against all odds, would they be able to beat the odds?
We've outstripped 56 clicks, Tim. I've never witnessed such blistering rapidity. Pretty magnificent for 2 hicks from the sticks, eh? Those Invercargill simpletons and their unthinking misgivings will be drinking their cynicism for dinner. It's uncontestable, Tim. This definitely is the Dustruct Swuftust Undian.
The Dustruct Swuftust Undian, with Tim and Phul, impendingly imminent at Village Cinemas.
It isn't a chick flick, it's the choicest film since Cold Bull. Tim Rogers, Tex Perkins, they're here. We've all said things we regret.
Splash is quite simply one of the best American comedies of all time.
What?
Was that Peter Thompson?
That was Peter Thompson.
Splash
is one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Maybe it's one of the greatest in the mermaid turns into a human being genre.
Given.
You know, or perhaps if it was Mannequin v Splash might get the nod.
It leaves Aquamarine behind.
It sure does.
Anything in the Hilary Duff oeuvre.
Oh, hang on. The Perfect Man was.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Can you have sex with a mermaid in the conventional sense?
See, I would have thought no.
Do they have the gear?
I'm not sure.
The downstairs
Do
department?
they have the gear? I'm not sure.
1-3-3-5-3 if you've done it with a mermaid.
Or is it just the oral sort of situation you're working with here?
I don't know.
Do you know, I reckon you have to watch Splash again and
Yeah.
see if you could pick up the subtext.
My day has taken a complete turn.
Yeah.
I'd actually prefer to have the fish part on the top.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking of a number of sentences, all of which contain the word blowhole, and none of them feel appropriate for this time slot. Hey, what about street violence?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Ed Cavalier.
I went away on the weekend. I went to Sydney.
You wouldn't think this guy'd be edgy and dangerous and living on the, mean streets.
I have to wear gloves because these are lethal weapons or something.
What happened? What'd you see? Is there a song in it?
No, maybe, yeah. Well, I was wandering down the street, and on one street corner, I saw 2 guys doing a nudie run while a bunch of dudes yelled Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Then on the next street corner, there was, honestly, you couldn't walk down one side of the street because there were that many people sort of perfectly coiffed in assistant real estate agent kind of hairdos, but lots of gold things dangling, but lots of angry faces trying to get into a nightclub. And then on the next corner, down, a car smacked into another car, an accident. The guys got out, yelled a whole bunch of racist stuff at the other dudes that were driving, started punching them, and then all of a sudden, 20 people came out of nowhere, and a street brawl started.
And now, normally you would know when a street brawl's about to start.
Yeah.
Because you hear this sound. That's the usual giveaway.
There was none of that. There was no one standing by with synth and kind of electric drums to let me
ran
know.
For the car? Did we cop a bit of... Was it that underneath?
No, and it was terribly choreographed. Legs and arms going anywhere. I couldn't make head nor tail out of it.
Ian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So what did you see?
I saw Cold Chisel ringside in the Horden Pavilion.
Memorable moment from the concert?
Just how the stage twisted round. It was the rotating stage in the Horden, and Jimmy Barnes was actually sort of trying to carry on a conversation over the crowd between songs with me.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he was?
In your mind.
And is it hard to maintain a conversation on a rotating stage?
I'll just be back to you in a sec.
In about 20 minutes.
I saw that Grease Arena Spectacular when it was in Sydney, and John Farnham, was in it, and he came out, and everyone else was kind of talking and sort of acting with each other. But when John Farnham came out, he walked around the edge of the stage, shaking hands and talking to the crowd, while the girl who's sort of sitting on the bed's doing her lines to him, and he'd just sort of respond while slapping hands with the audience.
See, that's what you need, like the STC, when you're going along to see a bit of Hedda Gabler or something. That's what you want to see.
Just Kate, give
just
him
have fun high-fiving.
High-fiving people.
Keep the Russian gloomy gear up the back.
It's the way Ibsen would have wanted it.
It is.
The Arena Spectacular.
That's a great idea.
If there's then any play that can't be improved with adding the words Arena Spectacular, Endgame. Samuel Beckett's Endgame, the Arena Spectacular. 2 enormous rubbish bits.
That'd be great.
All right, that's enough Beckett talk, I think.
Wow.
Get this, weekdays on the Triple M network and KOFM in Newcastle.